Welcome back to the Relationship Mentors podcast. We're on episode 27, and today we're going to have a little update around pregnancy stuff and then go into some questions. So we searched up what are the most popular or the most searched relationship questions on the internet for 2023, and we wrote all those down. So going to be a juicy episode going into that, and then going into a couple examples of things that people have sent in as well.
Amazing. That's so good. So to start off with our little update or weekly update, we'll do a little bub update. So I'm going to be 20 weeks pregnant by the time this comes out. So I'm 20 weeks tomorrow, but by Monday when this comes out, we will actually be finding out the gender.
Oh yeah, on the Wednesday.
On the Wednesday. So 2 days, if you're listening to this on the day that it's released, in 2 days, we find out our baby's gender, if it's going to be a boy or a girl. So if you are watching, let us know in the comments what you think is going to be. Do you think it's going to be a boy?
We'll talk about it in the next episode, don't we?
Yeah. So yeah, 100% in the next episode, you guys will find out if we're having a boy or a girl, or if you follow us on YouTube or Instagram, we'll be posting like a short there, I'm sure.
Yeah. How exciting.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Like we've got a name for a girl, name for a boy. And then we've just been calling it baby. But then we get to call it its name.
Yeah.
Once we know next Wednesday.
And I feel like we'll be able to start building an even deeper connection, like talking to our baby and saying his or her name. And
yeah, because the baby can hear at what point could it hear again?
It said that it could start hearing what I was saying like 3 weeks ago. Yeah. So it was like at 16 weeks something.
But it can feel everything already, can't it? Like even when it's so small.
The other night we were laying in bed, and I think it's like the only time that I'm fully relaxing and not doing anything all day, and I could really feel Bub moving and like pushing up against like the slightest kicks ever.
Little kicks, yeah. And it feels like it just feels like your pulse. It's so soft.
Or like sometimes like if you have a really upset stomach, because I have a very sensitive stomach, if I eat something and it's like not going well with my stomach, or it's like digesting something and you can feel your stomach like gurgle or something, I feel like that's what it feels like right now, because it's so slight. Like, am I just digesting food, or is my baby moving?
What's the best and worst part about being 20 weeks pregnant?
The best, I actually just have like two bests. Like, best part is that pregnancy overall is just so exciting now. Like, I think, we were very honest. I was very honest in the first trimester how that felt for me. And even just slightly after the first trimester, like it just genuinely wasn't what I had heard about in the movies, from friends, from like just
watching family.
Yeah, the things that you hear about pregnancy, it's just like that was my expectation of it. And the first trimester was not that at all for me. However, now it feels like that. Like now, like we went to the soccer field this morning, we're going to the markets, like I'm out doing things, I can socialize, and it's like all
those
happening.
Privileges are coming back.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm just genuinely enjoying life again, being pregnant.
And what's your other best?
And I had it in my mind and it's just sort of gone. Like being able to I think it's then saying how amazing it is to be growing a baby. And
it's wild.
Yeah. And especially there's definitely days where I just feel like I'm 20, 30 kilos heavier than I was before. And then I watch back at videos of me before I was pregnant. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I look so different there. And then when I look in the mirror, I realize, okay, I actually still do look the same. It just depends.
Yeah.
I think I just struggle. The worst is just like I'm really struggling with clothes, I think.
Yeah, I was going to mention that as your worst.
Yeah.
Struggling with clothes.
Especially, it's like I'm going to 2 weddings in the next month, and I'm also going to the other side of Australia for 10 days for like a family holiday, for one of the weddings as well. And so like finding outfits for that would normally be really exciting, like holiday outfits. However, I'm struggling with that, and my whole wardrobe is just Charlie's wardrobe. And so I really noticed, and it's winter in Australia as well, so it's even colder. And so I just realized that my wardrobe is just wearing super oversized clothes that are super casual, warm, And I realized that's what was making me feel like I was like 30 kilos bigger, because I was wearing all of your clothes that were also winter clothes. So it was just thicker, when I was like, oh, if I just go back into, it's like, I was thinking I have so many dresses that would actually fit me, but it's just cold. So I haven't been wearing them.
Oh, you've been doing so well with pregnancy stuff, and taking tablets every day and rolling with it, learning to love your body every single day. Every single morning I wake up before Mia, and then Mia rolls out of bed and she comes up to me like, look at my belly, every single morning without question.
The baby, like my belly's definitely round now, I would say.
Yeah, at the start it was just the bottom, like under the belly button. That's where the bump was. And now the bump is higher up because it's probably pushing all your organs up.
It's so funny because it's like in movies you just see this big pregnant belly and you just gather that that's the whole baby. But then when you actually realize, oh, at the top of the bump, it's just all of the organs. And then it's actually down the bottom where the baby is.
Yeah. It's mad how much it pushes. We saw a little visual of like a baby growing within a stomach, and all the guts and the lungs and the heart and everything just moves out of place.
Yeah, that animation is like the best, I think.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, I think it's definitely viral on the social media platforms, so it's definitely great.
Yeah.
But let's ask you. It's like, it's always about me with the pregnancy. What about you? What are your best, worst? What's your experience?
I'm feeling so great about pregnancy, and everywhere I look now I just see prams and babies and like dads pushing their babies on a swing and stuff like that.
So many pregnant people now.
Now it's in our awareness so much. Everywhere we look, there's pregnant people and there's babies.
Every single place I go, there's always a pregnant person, always a pregnant mum.
And we're looking at different prams to buy and figuring out which one's best. And that's all we see now, the prams. And notice every single brand of every single pram. Whereas previous to falling pregnant, I wouldn't even notice a pram. Like I thought all prams were just the same. And now looking at the prams, I just see every single one and the branding and the size and how they're using it. And I'm like, oh, should I just stop and ask them like, hey, how are you going with the pram?
That's what I think.
Do you think that as well? Like, hey, have you guys been enjoying that upper baby pram?
Even on like Facebook Marketplace, when someone's selling their pram, I just want to message them of not asking for the pram, but like, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah.
What
how
are your
did
thoughts?
it go?
Are you selling this one because you don't really like it? Or
But I've been really enjoying pregnancy.
That's so good.
And supporting you through that and learning to, it's taught us a lot of things, especially around emotionally supporting you and different roles in the house and us working together more as a team. What are you looking at? You always look at my spots.
I'm just like, just thinking of what you're saying. Yeah.
By looking in my ear.
No, I was just like, staring at something as I was thinking. That's all.
Right. But yeah, pregnancy's been going great and really excited to see the baby next week. That'll be so, so cool. And knowing whether it's a boy or a girl, and then being able to form a better connection with the baby through that, and then feeling the kicks more, and then getting closer and closer. And then the next 4 months is going to fly, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm pretty much almost halfway. I think halfway is like 20 weeks and a half.
Yeah.
Or like 21 weeks around that time. So it's cool that I'm like halfway.
Yeah.
And so now that I'm like, okay, I'm halfway, I have a belly, and I feel like I'm just also acknowledging that like I still look like me. I think that's a really big thing that has happened the last like couple of weeks, that I have felt like I'm a completely different person. And then today I realized like, okay, I am still the same person.
Yeah.
Like I still look the same. It's fine.
No. All right, let's get in the questions.
No, just before we move into that, like since the next episode, we're going to be telling you guys if we're having a boy or a girl. I think in this episode, we should just say what our assumptions are.
Okay.
It's like, do you believe, or do you think we're going to have a boy or a girl?
I've learned way more towards girl recently. Like I've always thought boy first, but now I'm thinking girl first.
And I'm going to hold the paradox of that. And I believe that we're going to be having a boy, because I've always believed we're having a boy. I've always believed I'll have a boy first. And I feel like that's what you would adopted as well.
Yeah.
And then you started having your own thoughts of it being a girl. And I think because like I was so sure it was going to be a boy. And then the closer we get, like I'm really just like, oh, like 60,
just don't
40.
know, do you?
Yeah.
And even everyone's like, oh, it's definitely a boy. It's like, no, you don't know. Like nobody knows.
But like a lot of our friends have actually assumed, family members have assumed that it's a boy. Actually, yeah, like I feel like a lot of our friends and family members have now changed thinking it's going to be a girl now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So
it's really 50-50.
Yeah, either way, we're super excited. Like, yeah, it'll be great. Okay, now moving on to the actual podcast questions. So these are the most Googled relationship questions in 2023.
it's such a hot topic as well. Like relationships is such a big topic because it affects everyone, doesn't it? Like everyone deals with relationships, whether you're single, whether you're dating, whether you're married, whether you're divorced. It's all around relationships.
Exactly. And I can just remember when I was looking at these questions that were asked on Google, I could just imagine. Yeah, like even myself or just like anyone that's experiencing this, like it's late at night, you're in bed with your own thoughts and like, okay, let me just ask Google. Now we have like ChatGPT, AIs, like things that we could ask that would more so go to them now rather than Google. However, these questions are super short, like very, very high chunk. So I feel like we'll just give different analogies of depending on what the situation really is.
Yeah.
Okay, so question number 1 is, should I move in with my boyfriend? This is something that I personally Googled as well.
Really?
Yeah, because it felt like Charlie asked me to move in with him or for us to move in together 3 months into the relationship, which feels really soon now, like saying it, we were only 3 months in. However, it had felt like we had
been together for
been
ages.
together for so long. And the reason that I was questioning it so much is like, I had such a great setup, like a beautiful home. One of my roommates had a dog. I lived with my best friend. Like it was 5 minutes away from my gym, 5 minutes away from work. Like it was just I have the most convenient setup.
And you didn't have a lease. It was just like renting off your friend.
It's like one of my roommates that owned the whole house. Like that was so secure because it's like she owned the house. She's owned it for ages.
Yeah.
She was really cool. Living with my best friend, like the setup was just so immaculate that I was like, why? Like,
Why change it?
Yeah, it's like everything's great. Like there's no need to change it. And then
my lease was coming to an end.
Yeah. So yours was coming to an end in
living
like
with
3
someone else.
months.
Yeah. I was like, fuck living with someone else. Let's move in together. You're like, okay. And then we went ahead with that process.
Yeah. And so it gave us time, like it gave us those 3 months to like look for places and apply for places as well.
How did you know it was the right time to move in?
Really? There was never 100% certainty for a while. I think I asked like a lot of my friends for their thoughts. I think my biggest person is like I went to my mum. Like she was like my go-to person of like, should I try this? Should I not try this? And my mum's advice was great. And I really carried through with that, which is like if a relationship's going to work, like if it's not going to work, you're going to find that out sooner rather than like you're really going to get to know someone as soon as you move in with them. And that's because I had never lived with a guy before. Had never lived with a male my entire life.
True.
So you're the first male.
Not even a dad or anything. That's crazy.
That sounds sad, but yeah, that is true. I've like never lived with a male.
You've never lived with a male. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'd never lived with a male whatsoever. So, and it's like my setup was so great. I'm going to move in with my boyfriend that we haven't, like, in the big scheme of things, we were so committed to each other. Yet I'm like, but I know eventually I'm going to be living, like if I choose to live with you, there's no going back from that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you don't stop living with your partner if you stay together.
Yeah. It's like I knew that if I made that decision, like I knew from the moment that we met, we'd be together for a very long time, if not forever. And that I'm like, once I make this decision, I'm never going to like live with my best friend again. Yeah. I'm never going to be this young again, just like living in our little humble abode with my bestie. And
it's like grieving that past life of being separate and living with your friend and not being with a partner yet. It's like, yeah, like you said, once you move in with your partner, you're likely going to live with them forever. So it's like having that in the future to look forward to, but then fully stepping into that right away can feel a bit different. And I remember you had some hesitation at the time. I was trying to figure out what I was doing because my lease was coming to an end and I had to move out and move into somewhere else. And I was like, I don't want to move in with randomers. I'd rather move in with my partner. And then you're like, oh, fuck, do I want to move in with my boyfriend? So it was really crunch time at that time, right?
Yeah. And it wasn't like, oh, I don't think it's going to work out or anything. It was more so of just like,
do I want to?
Yeah, it was like, it was so perfect before. Like, it was just so perfect. Do I want to risk that? Especially just having so much unknown of like living with a guy, what it's like. You're a great person to live with. You're really tidy. And the expectation of us moving in together, I think a lot of people say like it can change your relationship so much. For us, it was the easiest thing. Like we were already seeing each other every day.
Yeah.
And that just maintained. Like it just...
And then you fell pregnant as soon as we moved in.
Yeah, okay, that was a different part. Yeah. But yeah, for us, it was just really so seamless, and it wasn't this like massive, big transformation, I guess. Like it was and it wasn't. It didn't feel like that a big emotional charge. Like myself back then when I was typing that into Google, I was like, should I move in with my boyfriend? Am I going to make the worst decision I've ever made? And not that, that's like a slight thought that you have. But then it wasn't that.
Yeah.
And I think overall, there's no right or wrong time to move in with your partner. I feel like if you've I have know people that only started dating within 2 weeks and started moving, and they moved in with each other straight away.
And I know people who've been together years and they're still waiting for the right time to move in together. There's just no right answer. You've got to feel in with yourself of, is this a committed relationship? Are we both in this? Do I have certainty around it? Do I feel emotionally connected so I know what's going on inside my partner's head? It's like, great. Then if you do know that and you feel certain within yourself, and then you look at the logistics, like logistically, does this work right now? Is this the most convenient thing for both of us? And checking in with yourself as well of, do I want this right now? Am I enjoying living separately? Because it's a fun stage when you and your partner live separately and you look forward to going around each other's houses and you organize that. Like that's fun as well. Don't just look at it as, oh, if I lived with my partner, he'd be there all the time. It'd be great. Missing each other is really good too.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it throws a whole different dynamic. When your partner's there all the time, it's so easy just to get into routine and become housemates. So enjoy the stage of living separately. And if you tick all those 3 boxes of, I know this relationship's committed, it works out for me logistically, and it's something I really want, then I'd say go ahead.
Yeah, I think you answered that so perfectly. That was great.
Thank you.
Excellent. And then question number 2, should I contact my ex who dumped me?
Oh, especially of people who are anxiously attached and they leave a relationship. There's so much. It's like if one person can take away all this pain I'm currently feeling from this breakup, there's such a motivator to try and contact them. Like if I just get some contact off this person and they say they want to meet up, they want to have a conversation, like that takes all the anxiety away. It takes all the stress away. It takes all the hurt and grief away from what I'm feeling right now. So I can see how people are so motivated to want to message their ex. But when you do that and you know you're not going to be together for a long time, you're just resetting the clock to 0. It's like time will heal your breakup. But if you message your ex and you contact your ex, then the clock just restarts again and you have to go through that process again. But a lot of people, if you didn't have closure from your ex-partner, I feel like that's a different story.
Let's get into that. So I 100% agree. Like there's a lot of people that want to contact their ex, and a lot of the time it's just because you're focusing on the initial pain that you're feeling right now. It's like, okay, well, how do I heal this pain? Oh, like the instant gratification is, if I contact them, if they acknowledge that I still exist and they still care about me or that they want to see me, like that will make the pain feel easier a lot sooner. But then it's like, if you look at the long run, like if you look in 3 months' time or 6 months' time, a year's time, if you're still in contact with your ex, you're still playing into that energy as well as you're starting the clock back from 0.
And you're energetically not open for the next thing to come into your life if you're still wrapped up with your ex.
Talking now into the closure part that you mentioned. So I feel like a lot of people feel like they need closure, but then a lot of the time, what specific closure are you needing? Because a lot of the time, you actually already know the answers. You're just, again, going back to that first step of, oh, like I feel pain, but I want to get closure. AKA, I'm just wanting to make sure that they recognize that I still exist and they still care about me. And they're never going to find someone like me and it's going to feed my ego or fuel my ego. When in reality, like the closure that you need, like your closure is, do they love you? Do they respect you? Do they value you? And most of the time, you would already know those answers throughout the relationship. It's like you can tell if your partner still loves you. There's a lot of times that breakups happen and you still love the other person. It just means there's so much more to a relationship than just love. And a lot of the time there is still love there, yet they don't respect you enough or value the relationship enough or value you enough for continuation of the relationship and why you guys broke up in the first place. And sometimes you just want to keep being told that by that other person. So it's feeding your ego that you're still important to them and just hearing what you want to hear, when in reality, sometimes the best thing is just to cut off contact completely and know that you already know your answer.
Your desire for reconnection can make you so delusional and see things that don't exist and get the wrong idea, and she does something or he does something and you make that mean like, oh, maybe we're supposed to be together. And it's like, you've got to really work with the logical and the emotional. Like, don't make long-term decisions based on the short-term feelings, and don't just act from logic either. So it's like, when you can fully feel what you're feeling and check in with the logical side of like, is it the right decision to be together? No, it's not. But I feel like I want to contact them. Then you have to negotiate with yourself and be like, okay, it's just going to hurt me more if I try and contact them, because that's going to reopen that energy and we're not going to be together anyway. So I'm just delaying hurt till a little bit down the road. So it's like,
or you're just continuing that hurt for
longer. You're just dragging it out just to have that short-term bit of relief. But when you can get over your breakup, like getting over a breakup is such a episode in itself, but it's like, focus on you and move further and further away from that relationship, and then you'll heal from it.
Exactly. I love that answer. My question to you is, though, also with closure, what scenario or situation would someone need for closure? Because any scenario that I'm thinking of, it's like, you actually are telling yourself that you need closure, but you're just needing to give yourself the closure, but you're telling yourself that you need the closure from that person.
I'm working with a client currently, and one of his biggest things was trying to get over his ex. And I actually told him to recontact his ex because he didn't have closure. And then they were still messaging, and then she was giving off mixed signals that like, I will always love you, I always care for you, and maybe in the future, and this sort of language. Okay, and then he was like, the door was open for him, and he would never have got over that person if he didn't know it was closed. So he had to find out if it was closed. Otherwise, he would never be able to move on. So I was like, make contact with your ex. What's the answer you really want? Go after that. And then he got it. It's like they weren't going to like work out in the long run, but he got that answer. It wasn't the answer he wanted, but it was the answer he needed. And then he was able to move on. Yeah,
that's so great, because any closure that I was thinking of is like, it's just a one-sided closure with the other person not wanting to contact them. So with your example of like, oh, the other person is actually like playing with the emotions, maybe not intentionally, they're just wanting to keep the door open and not make the other person feel bad.
Because a lot of people stay in contact after breakups.
So many people.
And it was like, the door is open and there's that lingering energy for a bit, where if there's zero contact and it's clean cut, it's like, cool, move on from that.
Yeah. And you can have zero contact, clean cut in a healthy way, in the sense of you're not on bad terms. Like, all of my exes are always, it's like, yeah, we had a great relationship, or it ended for whatever reason. It's like, we're still on good terms, but I don't want to talk to you.
There's no reason for you to be in my life.
There is no reason for you to be in my life.
Like, I don't want to be friends with you, but you're not my enemy.
Yeah, it's like, we don't hate each other. There's no bad blood. It's just, there's no reason for it. Excellent. Okay, question number 3 is, should I get back together with my ex?
These people Googling, it's all like the emotions of the emotions of a breakup, and what should I do, and what does this mean? Yeah. People are so desperate for certainty within their relationship and reassurance within the dating scenario. So should I get back with my ex? It depends. There's a reason you broke up, and if you both can come to terms and realize what you needed to work on and what didn't go well in the first relationship, then there is a chance, and it has to come from both sides though. If there's only you putting effort in and you're clinging onto this thing with desperation, and they take you back because you're the last resort, for example, then that wouldn't be great. Yeah,
there's so many reasons. Like, there's so many different reasons why people break up in the first place, and there's so many reasons why people go back to their ex. Sometimes it's an unhealthy situation and you're just going back to them because you're worried you'll forever be alone. It's like, for that, if that's the case, then the answer is no, you shouldn't go back to them because you're just doing it out of fear rather than actually wanting to be with that particular person. But I do find a lot, even with like younger relationships or people who are younger, even younger, I just literally mean from when you first start dating up to like 40, but then past that point you're a lot more mature within a relationship, is that they can tend to break up not for anything that particular happened. They're just doing it out of immaturity and fear of their own.
Fear of commitment.
Fear of same patterns happening, and it's like all individual for that person, that they're just fearful of something playing out, whatever it is, or they're fearful of getting close to someone, so they self-sabotage the relationship. Then when they break up, they realize that they did it out of being naive or the immaturity of it, and then want to get back with their ex. And if they've grown in that time, because a lot of the time through that breakup, they realize, they have that realization that it was just them being scared, then getting back together. Sometimes that is a lot better.
Because it's so easy at the start of the relationship. Like, none of your shit comes to the surface. You don't have to work through stuff. But then a little bit down the road, you get a bit more comfortable. You get to see each other's shadows and each other's not so pretty bits. And at that point, when your shit comes up, people can feel overwhelmed. People can feel like they need to run away from that. They feel a bit suffocated, and it's scary for a lot of people. So they run away, and then being separate, they realize, it was actually my own shit and I need to work through this. And then if you can realize that, then the relationship's still there, then go back get back together.
Exactly on what you said as well, saying it's like they realize that it was their own shit. When they're breaking up with their partner for the first time, they're normally projecting that it's their partner, but then when they break up, they realize that it was them in the situation. Yeah,
so it's really like, should I get back with my ex? Check in with yourself of, logistically, is this relationship the best thing? If not, don't. If it is, and then realize what went wrong and how can you move past that.
Exactly. And I always think the best advice is, it's like, start a new relationship with them.
Yeah. Don't drag shit from the past. Just be like, cool, we fucked up. We're just kids. We're figuring this out as we go.
First time in life.
Yeah, it's first time in life. Let's go from here. What do you want the relationship to look like? And we'll build from there.
Yeah, I love it. Excellent. And then question number 4 is, should I forgive a cheater?
What are your thoughts?
It's so dependent on the person and on the situation and like what your own values are. There's a lot of times, like we've said in the podcast before, most relationships that have had cheating occur, it's most likely that they do stay in the relationship, like the relationship stays together. It's more likely for their partner to stay rather than leave. I personally would always leave, because I think it's just
the relationship's so different after that.
Yeah, it's like I know myself and my own personality. It's like knowing yourself well enough. It's like my personality is like, I will forever remember it, and I will forever question everything that's happened, any little situation that's ever happened in the past, any situation that's coming up in the future or that we're recreating now. Even if it has nothing to do with cheating, my brain would just remind me of it, and I would question everything, even if I wouldn't logically express it, like verbally express it, I would always think about it. So for me, knowing my own personality, I wouldn't be able to forget something like that, and I wouldn't be able to look past it. So it's just, I believe, really just knowing what your personality is like, because the advice that we do give our clients is you really need to ask yourself now that it's like, once you've had that conversation, you found out that your partner's cheating, can you forgive that person? And then if you choose to forgive them, it's a thing of like, you need to start a new relationship with that person, and you can't hold that against them. And I just know, with my personality, I wouldn't be able to do that, but that is the way to continue the relationship.
Yeah. And there's so many different ways to break trust within a relationship. Like, it isn't just cheating, it's lying to your partner, then your partner finding out, and then your partner questions everything from the past, and then the crux of the relationship, the foundations are broken, and then it takes a lot to rebuild that trust. So it's not just physically cheating and having sex with someone else, it's all forms of cheating. Are you flirting with other people? Are you messaging people? Are you lying to your partner about different things? Are you watching porn behind their back? Like, there's so many little ways to break your partner's trust, and all that shit building up leads to cheating. Someone doesn't go from a perfect relationship to cheating. It's a perfect relationship little lies start to come into place. You're doing things behind their back, and then all of a sudden you walk down a path so far, and then you cheat on them. It's like the feather, the brick, and the truck. Notice the signs that you're disconnecting from your partner, or your partner's disconnecting from you, and then address it.
Yeah, perfect.
But can they get back from cheating? Like you said, it depends on personality. It's like, ask yourself honestly, can you see yourself getting over this? Or did this happen? Is the universe telling you this relationship isn't for you, and it had to send you this sign for you to get out of this relationship, for you to actually snap out of it? So yeah, you've got to really ask yourself that.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of the time when cheating does occur, it's what you said, like a feather, brick, and a truck. That it's like it was just a harmless thing at the beginning of just talking to someone, and then it's never the intention of, I don't want you to be my part, like not attracted to you anymore, so I'm going to go elsewhere. Yes, we hear a lot of stories like that, but majority of the time that's actually not the case. It's their own insecurity of the cheater that they're trying to fuel their ego or something like that. So
yeah, there's so many different reasons people cheat, and yeah, it's just asking yourself, can I get over this? And you have to be really honest with yourself and be brave in that. It's so easy just to stay connected because you don't want to go through the feelings of uncertainty and being alone, but you're just going to hurt yourself more if you stay in that relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and then question number 5 is, should I follow my ex on Instagram?
Oh, a bit of stalking. There's so many people like fake accounts and stuff.
There is. My question is like, for what reason are you wanting to follow your ex on Instagram?
They're not doing better than me.
Yeah, but it's like, you can just look, like, that is so petty, and I know that so many people still do that, but you can just Google them. You could just search them up and see it for that time.
Yeah, you don't need to. Yeah, why would you follow your ex?
I guess some people have like private accounts. But it's like, there is just no reason for you to need to follow them. And you following them is just letting them know, oh, yep, they're still interested in me. Great. They'll be there whenever I'm tired and want a booty call, or it's such a, I have the upper hand. Oop, I'm winning because they want to follow me. And
it is such a competition when you break up and you're like, you want to do better than your ex.
Yeah. It's just such an
on such a shitty ego-driven level. It's like, it's always going to be there, and you got to love that side of yourself as well. Yeah. It's not all love and light. It's competition in this life. You got to get past that. Yeah. It's like no reason to follow your ex on social media. I think it's so unhealthy. It's so weird. Like, if you stalk them from afar, okay, I get it. But if you follow them, that's really weird. What?
Stalk them, but don't follow them.
Yeah,
It was funny. It was like, yes, I think that is more so the case. But my biggest thing is just like they're an ex for a reason. They're obviously an ex for a reason. There's no need to.
Yeah, and stop obsessing over their life and focus on yourself.
What's the quote where it's like, make your life so great that you stop becoming so assumed by everyone else's life, consumed by everyone else's life.
Yeah, if you're constantly looking at everyone else's life, it means yours isn't exciting enough.
Exactly. Should we move on to the last question now?
Yeah.
Excellent. So this is a longer question. So this person's really going into the depth of their relationship. So I'm just a little story time. So me and my boyfriend have been dating for around 2 or 3 months, and recently I've met another guy. I had no intention of actually liking this guy. I only wanted to be friends. He's very funny and makes me feel good about myself. I love my boyfriend but this other guy makes me so happy. My boyfriend really doesn't like cheaters, which I think is just a dumb thing to say of just like,
who likes cheaters?
Who likes cheaters? Obviously, no one likes a cheater. And so my boyfriend really doesn't like cheaters, and loyalty is very important to him. But I don't think what I'm doing counts as cheating. I only talk to the other guy like he's a friend and nothing more, even though the other guy wants to have something more. He knows I have a boyfriend and respects that. I love both of them, but the other guy just makes me so much happier than my boyfriend does. I'm very worried about what my boyfriend would think if he found out, but I can't help it. I really like talking to this guy.
Oh, she's in the wrong.
Yeah.
If she's entertaining that and she wants to be in a relationship with a boyfriend, like, you can't have both. You can't flirt as much as possible. Like, you can't entertain these other people as much as possible and still hold down a relationship, knowing you're lying behind their back, knowing you haven't, like, lying isn't what you've said is wrong. It's not saying something that needs to be said. That counts as lying too. And if you've got feelings that you haven't told your partner, then that's lying. Just because you haven't outwardly spoken about it, if you're hiding something from your partner, that's lying. So yeah, I think it's so wrong what she's doing.
Yeah. If you're intentionally doing something that you know that your partner wouldn't be okay with, it's like full stop, you're doing the wrong thing. It's like there should not be anything that you do that you feel like you can't openly tell your partner about. And it's like that full stop is not okay. And also, just to say that the other guy knows that you're in a relationship and respects that, it's like, for one, you know that he's interested in you. It's like, one, how did you find that out? He's obviously communicated that. And if you respected that you're in a relationship, potentially he would give you space away from that. But you're still entertaining it by messaging this guy and by giving him a door that's open to allow him in to be messaging or to catch up with him and making you feel all like happy and in love. And if that's the case, great. You're no longer completely happy and content within your relationship, that you should end that relationship out of respect for the relationship and your current boyfriend.
And it's probably a case that the relationship feels a bit boring. They're not having as much sex. The boyfriend doesn't compliment them. It's just not as fun as it used to be. And then you meet this other guy and it's fun. This aspect of fun is missing from your relationship and you feel it outside of yourself. You're getting attention, you're getting compliments, you're getting someone that's desiring you. It's like, that could feel so good. And there's two ways to go about this, of either working on the relationship and adding more fun in the relationship and being like, ooh, I've had feelings for this person. It's not about feeling shame that you had feelings for someone else. It's taking that and be like, cool, that means something's missing in my relationship. And can I work on that? And can I build the depth of this relationship? Because if you got with this other guy and then you're 2-3 years down the line and you've got the exact same feelings of, oh, it feels a bit boring now. And then another guy starts flirting with you. It's like, what happens then? Do you just keep repeating the cycle and never build depth with anyone? Or do you actually learn how to work through stuff in your relationship?
Yeah, I love that so much. It's like, okay, you said that you're having so much fun with this other guy. It's like, okay, so that's like potentially lacking from your relationship. Is having more fun with your current partner what you're wanting? Like, are you wanting to have fun with your current partner? And if the answer is yes, then build that. But if the answer is no, I don't
even want to be with my partner.
Yeah,
he's just convenient.
Or I can't see myself having fun with my partner. Like, if they just have, like, they've only been dating for 2 to 3 months. So it's like, if you can't see yourself actually having fun with your partner of what you both find fun, then that is a sign to, it's like, okay, that relationship isn't for you.
Yeah, she wants the best of both worlds. She wants a sure bet, which is her partner. It's like, cool, I know I have connection there. I know I'm not alone. And I get a bit of fun over here. But it's like, that causes so much disconnect. And yeah, it's just really shitty.
Yeah. And by the sounds of it, like, we spoke a lot about like fueling your ego in this episode. And I feel like that's also what she's doing, of like, oh, it's so great. Like, I have a boyfriend that wants me, but then I also have this other person that makes me so happy and that also wants me.
Like, ooh, yeah, attention feels great.
Yeah. And I truly believe the moment you know that someone's interested in you, even if if you're just friends, which there's so many different levels to that already, but it's like, if you are genuinely just friends with someone of the opposite sex or the sex that you're interested in, that the moment that you know that they're actually interested in being with you, I believe that's when it's time to cut off communication.
Yeah.
Or just be like, okay, like, well then, if I continue even to talk to you or chat to you, this now is like cheating on some level.
Yeah, because imagine your partner, imagine your boyfriend entertaining that with other women like you are. Just imagine the shoes on the opposite sides of, like, your boyfriend was doing exactly what you're doing. How would that make you feel? And if it doesn't make you feel good, then you know it's wrong. Like, that's how you check in with yourself. So yeah, in this situation, it's, do I fully want to be with this person, or am I just missing fun within my relationship?
Yeah, I love
and then
that.
make a decision from there. Make the hard decision as well. Like, it's going to suck breaking up with your ex maybe, and it's going to be scary and uncertain, but maybe that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot healthier doing it now when you're aware of it, rather than 6 months down the track and who knows where the other situation is leading to as well.
Yeah. You feel complete on that?
I do. Do you?
Yeah. How exciting. We got some family time coming up this week. We're going away to Toowoomba to Mia's families. And yeah, it's going to be lots of family there. So it's going to be cute. Mia's got like 5,000 cousins. So we're catching up with like 100 of them on Saturday. What?
Yeah. So I have like 35 first cousins on my dad's side, and then
So
whatever.
many.
So the cousin that we're going to her baby shower this weekend, but she's a second cousin, so she's like my mum. Our parents are
Our cousins. Wow. It's going to be interesting. So yeah, hanging out with the family all weekend and then back down to the coast on Monday. And then we've got a scan on Wednesday.
Yes.
And it's all happening.
So don't forget to put down in the comments if you think we're having a boy or a girl before next week's episode comes out.
Yeah, then jump into next week's episode. Comes out on every Monday. So whenever you're listening, the next Monday. And you'll find out whether we're having a boy or a girl, which would be cool.
Woo!
Thanks, guys. We'll catch you next week.
Bye.